Good morning, stamping friends. It's Laura Milligan. I am coming to you from my studio that I call the B Spot in Canton, Ohio. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm so glad you joined me. This is not my normal day to go live. It's not my normal time to go live, but hopefully I've given you all enough notice about that, and some of you will be hopping on today, or maybe you'll just watch the replay, and that's all great as well. So I am going to do, it's July, and so there's always the talk of Christmas in July, and I haven't really done anything Christmassy this month. And as you know, this month is slowly, well, I'm going to say quickly winding down. I can't believe we're almost to August. So I thought today it would be fun to make some Christmas cards, and I am featuring a new bundle called Jolly Holly, and I will get to those in a minute. They're beautiful. And you know what happens? You think you like a bundle, and then you start playing with it, and you start liking it even more. And that's kind of what happened with this. I love this. This is really cool. So look forward to that today. And then I also wanted to mention, of course, we have free shipping. Stampin' Up! Only offers this a couple times a year, so it's always very exciting. But it's started yesterday, it's today, and also tomorrow. It's a $75 minimum order. I would be so grateful if you order through me via my online store, and that's just lauramilligan.com/shop. I would appreciate any and all orders. I'd be very grateful for that. So thank you for your support. I am going to go ahead and switch the camera around. Let me see who has joined me today. I usually can guess who the first people signing in are going to be. I have some people that are usually like right on time. Yep, and there they are. There's Myra. There's Anne Marie. Hi, friends. How are you today? Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to switch my camera view. And I have a couple things I want to talk about. So before I get started with my stamping. Hi, Susan. How are you? So first I want to mention Stampin' at Sea. So this is the cruise. This is the second cruise that my friend Janice and I are hosting. And we had so much fun on the first one. Of course, we wanted to do another one. This one is taking place in October. The ship is pretty much full. If you really want to still try to go on the trip, please get in touch with me and we can check on availability. But I think it's very close. It's very tight. There may be a cabin or two left, but I don't think there's much. But anyway, what I offered last time was called FOMO, and that is the fear of missing out. And I had a couple people take the FOMO option on the Stampin' at Sea trip, and that just means if you are unable to attend for whatever reason, the timing doesn't work for you, the cost, whatever, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But if you can't attend in person, then you can buy the cruise to go, the fear of missing out option. And it is going to be, you would get a big box mailed to you toward the end of September with all the goodies, all the surprises, all the product, all the projects, like a ton of stuff shipped to you, and you would have a PDF that you could follow to make all of the projects. And I think we're gearing up to about 30 different projects, and let me tell you, they are adorable. But you would also get the bag that the cruisers are going to get, like all the fun little gifties that they're going to get. You would get it all. And if you are interested in that, please get in touch with me. The cost for that is $250, and that's the same price for local pickup or shipping. So just let me know, but don't miss out, because it is a ton of fun and a ton of great projects. So keep that in mind. Fear of missing out. Don't miss out. Okay, and then I have, yesterday I just released, this is a quick turnaround card class. It's the end of the month, and I thought, well, I want to do one more thing this month. And so it is a card class to go featuring the Inspiring Imperfections suite of products, also known as the Kintsugi suite. And let me find it in my catalog, because I want to show you. It's hold on one second. Okay, here we go. So this is the suite, and it is called Kintsugi, and There's a story behind kintsugi and what it means, and I think, yeah, here it is. It's a traditional Japanese technique of repairing broken pottery with gold lacquer. The mended gold veins become a celebration of imperfection instead of hiding it. We love this philosophy. I do too. I think that's awesome. So the suite is gorgeous. The designer paper, of course, is gorgeous. I'll show you that kind of in person here in a minute. It has a beautiful embossing folder, some beautiful gems, a great bundle, and I have an early bird special. And like I said, this class has a quick turnaround. Registration is going to be closing on July 25th. So you have to decide, you're either in or out. But if you know you want to do it and you add the bundle to the card class, then I will include for you for free the joined together embossing folder that is a part of this suite. So if you want to do the class, you don't have the bundle, act quickly, do it before noon tomorrow, and I will include this when I mail you your packet, or if you're local and you do a pickup. So let me just show you the products. So these are the flower accents. Look how cute they are. I don't know if you can see the detail, but they're like really detailed. They are almost, there you go. They're almost like little daisies. Really, really cute. This is the bundle. So the words are really nice. I'm here for you. Thanks for helping me through this difficult time. You inspire me. There's beauty in your history. I know you'll get through this and be stronger for it. So it's like a really uplifting set of words. And then this is the bundle. And what I love about this, of course, always, is that a couple of these dies coordinate with the designer series paper. So that always makes it a plus for me. Okay, and then let me show you the designer paper. So it is a specialty paper. You'll get a full pack of this, and it has the gold foil. So it's real shiny. See that there? And it is a 12 by 12. I've just cut it down to 6 by 6. Look how pretty that one is. And then this sheet, a lot of these, well, these dies, the vase and the little bowl, coordinate with the dies in the bundle. And then this one, these all have the gold foil on them. Love this one. And then this one. And then let me show you the back sides. The most beautiful patterns. So pretty. So the front is has the gold foil. The front side, they call it the A side, and then the B side or the back side is just these nice, pretty, different patterns in blues and pinks, and just so pretty. Hi, Joan. Thanks for joining today from Minnesota. That's awesome. And then let me just show you a quick glimpse. I've already showed the embossing folder. And again, this, if you order this class with the bundle by tomorrow, you will get this for free. It's a $10 value. So just reach out. And then these are the cards we're going to make. And I will do a video for each one of these. This one is a fun fold. I will do a video for each one of these. And you will, of course, I'll always include a picture and the measurements so that you can make these. It's almost like you're stamping right along with me in my studio, which would be really fun, but that doesn't always work out. So that is the current class to go with a quick turnaround. So don't miss out. The cards are stunning. The paper is stunning. Everything about it is just beautiful. Okay, so today, and did I mention we have free shipping today? I don't want you to miss out on that. That's for today and tomorrow. I use the free shipping times to stock up on envelopes and my card stock, any of adhesives that I use a lot of. I placed an order yesterday. I got cutting plates for my die cutting machine, and I needed a couple blends to be replaced, so I did that. So like a lot of the basics, and then I did get a bundle that I've been wanting. It was on my wish list. So, all right, so this is the Holly Jolly bundle, and it has the stamp set, the dies, and then the embossing folder, and this is a hybrid embossing folder, which we all love. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways to use this folder. But this is the hybrid part. This is what we're going to put inside this folder. And then there are some additional dies that coordinate. Well, there's two rectangle shapes with stitching around it, which are awesome. And then some of these dies coordinate with the stamp set, the bell, the poinsettia, the holly, and you can cut out the word joy. So that's all good. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I want to show you is a card that just uses the embossing folder as an embossing folder, and that's kind of the beauty of these hybrid folders. You can use them as just a regular embossing folder, and of course we all know how to do that, or you can use them as a hybrid, and I'll be showing you how to do that as well. So for my first card, I've done a little bit of the stamping ahead of time, and I have 2 pieces of basic white. This one measures 3 3/4 by 2 7/8, and then this one is 2 by 3 3/4. And so I'm going to pull up my big die cutting machine. I'm going to set this stuff aside. It's I have kind of a tight view here, but I'm going to bring this in so you can see what I'm doing here. And it's not only a hybrid embossing folder, but it's one of the 3D folders. So all you need to use is your base plate number 1 and then the plate number 4. And these, of course, come with this die cutting machine. Gosh, if you don't have the die cutting machine with free shipping, that would be a great time to purchase that. And I have these 2 pieces, and I'm just going to position them in here like that. And I'll just go ahead and crank this through just like I would any of our 3D embossing folders. And it goes through so easy. Okay, I'm going to set this down for a second. Well, whoops, I'll be using that again in a minute here. Okay, so here's our pieces, and it's holly. That's why it's called Jolly Holly Bundle. But look at the detail and how pretty. Isn't that pretty? Kind of makes you get excited for Christmas, right? All right, I'm going to set this aside too a minute here. And I'm going to take my white card base. I'm going to bring my little pieces in. And I have gone ahead and I have stamped, and I just did this ahead. I stamped and die cut 3 of the poinsettias and then 2 of these little sprigs. So there are dies that go with those, and that was just kind of quick and easy. And so now I'm going to add some color to these. I'm going to use let's see if I can find the right color, light cherry cobbler. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the petals of the flower. You actually could leave these white, but I wanted to have a contrast. I love white poinsettias. I think they're like ivory, but I think they're so pretty. So I'm just going to really quickly add a bit of color. Has anyone started making Christmas cards? I had a stamper here yesterday, and she told us that all of her Christmas cards are done, and of course we all just groaned. We're like, we haven't even thought about that yet, but she has worked ahead and hers are ready to go. I know a lot of people like to do their Christmas cards in the summer, especially teachers. I have a lot of teachers that try to get things, work ahead before the school year starts, because I know for teachers they get crazy. Okay, and then I'm going to take this little sprig and I'm going to add some color with light Pretty Peacock. These are little. This would have been easier probably to add color before I die cut it, but that's okay. Just some little, oops, I forgot one. Just some little dabs. And sometimes what I do when I have, like at the end here, it's so little, I just kind of make some dots. You could actually do that on the whole thing. Anyone else made their Christmas cards yet, or thought about them, or? Okay. All right, and then I'm going to get my stamp set out and use the word joy. Wow, okay. So Joan has made Halloween cards already. That's great. To some friends for friends in the VA hospital. Oh, that's really nice. That's great. I love the Halloween cards. Okay, so I'm going to angle this a bit on my block. This is just the joy, and it's going to go right here on my circle. I'm going to stamp it a little bit towards the top. Because I'm going to put my poinsettias down there at the bottom. Isn't that that's a pretty font? I love that font. Okay. Set that aside, and now we're going to assemble the card. So I'm going to start with 2 pieces of cherry cobbler, and these are just, I'm going to mount my embossed panels on this. It's a very exciting day here because I actually opened a brand new tube of glue. I had tried, you try to stretch it out as much as you can, and I thought, well, today's the day. I'm going to surrender my older one and whoopsie, and just get a brand new one out. It's kind of like paper snips, right? It's nice to get a brand new, there's nothing like a new pair of scissors, there's nothing like a new bottle of our glue here. Okay, so we have that. And when I emboss this, I put these pretty close together, and they don't line up perfectly, but it kind of, the design, the embossed pattern is kind of continued on there on the 2 separate sheets. You can see how these petals line up. So that's how I'm going to position this on the card. And I'm just going to glue this flat. Helen has made a few Christmas cards. Good for you, Helen. Well, at least you're thinking about it, Myra. It's coming though, and I've got to get going on some Christmas classes and things, so it's kind of hard to think about Christmas when it's so hot and humid, but we actually have a lovely day here. I was outside watering and just checking on a few of my plants, and let me make sure I did that. Yeah, that's going to be good. So I'm just going to be centering this on the front of my card. You could do this as one big panel, but I liked the separate panels. I thought that was kind of pretty and different. Okay, so then I'm going to take my circle, and this will be popped up with dimensionals. Yeah, it's for some reason, I wasn't out in my garden too much today, but gosh, it was not really humid like it has been, so that was a nice relief. Okay, then I'm just going to put this here a little bit to the left, and then I'm going to take my little sprigs, and I'll just put a dab of glue on these, and these are going to be tucked under my circle. I'm just putting glue on the tip. I like to, as you know, leave the ends sort of loose so that they almost, they add a different dimension to the card as well. They kind of stick up like you can see, like those are there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my baker's twine. This is a really old spool that I have. We used to sell it like this, but I'm just going to make a nice bow and grab my paper snips. And I'm just going to take a glue dot and glue this on this lower edge of my circle. And then I'm going to add our poinsettias. Maybe this will get everybody in the mood to at least start thinking about their Christmas cards. I love Christmas. I love all of it. I love the cards, the music, the decorations. I love all of it. Family. Family's the best, of course, always. Okay, so then I'm going to take our 3 poinsettias, and I am going to, I think I have some mini dimensionals here. Yes, I have a brand new pack. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of 2 of these, and before I attach them, I'm going to just glue one flat, and then I'll put the other one sort of around that. So this one, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on 2 of the petals. Oh my gosh, it's going to be over 100 in Michigan. I'm over it. I'm a fall winter girl. So that's just going to be, let me move this down a bit. This is just resting on our circle. And then I'll take these. I thought this was a really pretty Christmas card. So I'm going to put one of these here like that. And you can see just a bit of the bow behind it. And then I'll take the other one and it will be on top of the 3. Just kind of like that. So they're all just kind of layered together. So pretty, right? And then for the embellishments, I pulled out my iridescent faceted gems because I love the added sparkle, especially at Christmas time. So I'm just going to put something here, here, and here. And then for the inside, you could do, there's Merry Christmas small font, there's Merry Christmas big. I'm going to try, I'm just going to pull out the Merry, oh, and there's even a have a Merry Christmas. I'm going to pull out the little Merry and the big Christmas. And I'm going to start with, now you could mount these on the same block. You could get them positioned, but I didn't do that. And then what I do is like I'll put them on the same block and then I'll stamp it on a scrap paper just to make sure. There's our Merry and then Chris, just to make sure you know they're positioned like I want them to be. And then we'll do the Christmas. And that'll be just right there like that. So you have your inside greeting. I'm going to take my chamois. The chamois comes with the glass mat, and oftentimes I forget to get it wet before I start my lives, but I remember today, so it's really nice to use. And when I'm not using it, it's so thin, but it's wet right now. It's damp, I would say. You don't need it to be very wet, but gosh, when it dries, it is hard and stiff, and it's amazing that you just add some water. I take it to my kitchen sink and just squeeze water, and it gets real soft and nice. So let's put these away. That would be that's not too involved. If you wanted to make that particular card for Christmas, you could just sit and, do it in, like, first do the, and I'm going to clean this off too. First do the, do all your die cutting, do all your embossing. That's how I would do it. I would get all the parts and pieces ready and then start assembling. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they like fall and winter. I'm with you, my friends. I do love the summer, of course, because of gardening, but anyway. Okay, so here's our first card. And you can see the detail of that background embossing folder, Jolly Holly, and then it's Merry Christmas inside. So that is card 1. And I am going to do another ordering special. And all you need to do is it's a $40 order is what I do through me, and between today and Sunday. But what I need you to do is, if you want the cards that I'm making today, the kits, send me an email or message me, because then I will know that you want the kit. Sometimes I send kits to people that have placed orders during this ordering special, and they didn't even know I was offering it. They didn't know what it was. And so I just want to make sure that I'm sending kits to people that, are expecting them. So, okay, now this card is going to be kind of interesting because I've already pretty much put it together. Because when I made my sample, I used the 2 dies from Nested Essentials, and one of them has gone missing, and I have looked and looked and looked and I can't find it. So I'm just kind of taking my sample apart. I'm going to just show you how I put it together. So what I've done is just taken a piece of navy blue cardstock, and I mounted it on a 4x5 1/4 piece of white, and I embossed the navy blue with the Holly Jolly folder. I love navy blue and white and silver at Christmas, so I apologize for that, but I cannot find that die, so I couldn't make a second set of dies. It was one of those days. What can I say? Do you ever misplace things in your studio? I'm sure that we all do. I just hope I didn't throw it away, right? So I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back of my Nested Essentials die. Get some dimensionals here. Oh, here we go. So I'm just going to put some of these on here. This would be also a pretty simple card to make. Hi, Shar. How are you? Thanks for joining today. All right, so this is just going to be on the center here. And then this was the die that was missing, so I couldn't do, so I just actually took it off my sample. But what I did was I cut some of the holly. I stamped this in Night of Navy, and I die cut it. And then I took my white twine and just made a couple bows and tucked those behind, and that's just going to rest on here. And so let me go ahead and attach that. So this one is going together really quickly this morning, and gosh, I apologize for my boo-boo, and we are still looking. We are on a hunt for this missing die, because you know that the Nested Essentials as well as Stylish Shapes are kind of I call them my workhorses in my studio, my stamping arsenal. And I use them all the time, so I've got to find them. So this just goes on here like this, and then it's just on a basic white. So that was super quick, right? And then the embellishments are those iridescent gems again, because I just love those, and I think it looks so pretty for Christmas. And I think a lot of us, let me see if I can. I don't know if you can see you can kind of see the detail of the embossing folder, but it's just beautiful. I think this is a really pretty card. So that is my card number 2. That's like the quickest card I ever made, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, now the next one is really fun, and I'm going to show you how to use the hybrid embossing folder. So I'm going to need to, let me get all my pieces out here. the hybrid embossing folder, I know that I've told you this before. The first time I got one, I didn't really know what it was and I didn't know how it worked. And I was afraid to use it because I thought, surely, you know, if I put a die in an embossing folder, it's going to cut right through. And I don't want to ruin my die, you know, the first time I use it. So I tried it anyway, and it worked out actually just great. So let me show you. This is going to be an ivory and vanilla card, and I think that, you know, recently, the past couple years, people are combining white and vanilla for cards, and I think it's really pretty. I love the neutrals together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing folder and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to fit the die. It's going to fit on the side that says Stampin' Up here, right? That's where it's going to go. So I'm going to just flip this, and what I found with this one, so you see the two open pieces down here, they're going to go down here. And then I just kind of, and see there it just kind of snaps in place. And what I do is I just kind of move it with my hands like this until it's, and I don't know if you could feel that snap, but it snapped right in place. And then I'm going to take a piece of Very Vanilla, and this, I cut it a little bit larger for this die. I basically cut it the size of the embossing folder. It is 4.5 by 6. So I'm just going to put this in here, and you can see it is the same size as the embossing folder. And I'm going to take my cutting plate, and I'm going to put the folder in my die cutting machine, and then my plate number 4. And even though you've added the dies, you're still going to just use this because it is still it's that 3D embossing folder. I'm just going to crank it through. Okay. And then it comes out like this. It's so cool. So you have it like this. And the reason why I used this bigger piece is because when I used a smaller piece, I ended up with, let me see if I can find, well, I ended up with like a edge, some of these edges here that had like big holes in them, and I didn't like the look of that. So I thought I would start with a bigger piece, and then, hold on one second, I've got to get up and grab my paper trimmer. I will be right back. It's just right here. I forgot to pull that over here this morning. Okay. So I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I need to cut this to 4 by 5.25. And I'm going to be a little strategic about this. So I'm going to cut probably this way. And so what's cool about this is you have all these partially cut holly leaves. So you can pop them up. You can actually cut them out if you want to. Yeah, so here's some samples when I was just experimenting with it. But see how like on this one, it left that hole at the bottom, and I didn't want to put that on my card like that. Here's one I did in Pretty Peacock. I'll show you a finished one like of that in a minute. But so I'm going to cut this to 4 by 5.25, and let me see. I'm going to cut some from this side. I think I'll just, well, yeah, I think I'm just going to cut it right from here. Like that. And then I'm going to cut some of the bottom off. And I'll make that 5 1/4, sorry. Let me just make sure I'm doing this before I cut. What do they say? Measure twice, cut once, right? Yeah, so this is going to be this way. So I'm just going to trim it this side 4 by 5 1/4. You know, I think what I'm going to do is cut a 1/2 inch off here and then a 1/2 inch off the bottom. Or that's not even a 1/2 inch, but there we go. So then the design is pretty even around the whole folder. Okay. Just have to be a little bit careful. All right, now this little piece fell out, but you know what? I'm just going to glue it down. I'll just glue that down on my card front. Okay, so I am using I'm using 2 of the dies, or 1 of the dies, the rectangle shape. This is the smaller rectangle shape. And I'm going to use my cherry cobbler ink, and I'm going to use the saying that says, "May the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness, and love." And I'll just put that on an angle. And this is where I'm using with the basic white for my words, and then as a contrast to the very vanilla front. And this is going to be cherry cobbler ink. So may the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness, and love. So pretty. All right. And you know what? I have another one of these. I'm going to try to cut this again, see if I do better this time, since I made a boo-boo on the first one. I'm just going to cut the top off at 5 1/4. Because these pieces, they are connected more. So that's the length that I need. I should have been a little bit more careful the first time. And then I'm just going to make this 4, yeah. So then I don't have that big hole at the end. So the first one I showed you is the way not to do it. And this is the way to do it, so that so everything is connected, you don't have anything popping out at the bottom. I could fix that. All I would need to do for this little piece is just kind of glue it down. It would be fine. But I had another piece already prepped and ready to go, so I might as well use that one. It'll look better. Okay, so then I'm going to take some gold ribbon. This is a combo pack of ribbon. It's gold and silver trim combo pack, 3/16 of an inch wide, which I really like. And let me just see. So this is going to be, I'm just going to pop some of these up. Like this. And then this, my words are going to slide in here, and I'm going to tuck them under some of these petals, which I think looks really, really pretty. And there's one up here I can do. And you just have to position it the right way. But before I do that, I'm going to take my ribbon and just wrap it around, and I'll secure it in the back. This is a nice width. I like the smaller width of ribbon. Hi, Carmen, how are you? And I'm going to use dimensionals to hold this in place. And let me just check to make sure that, yep, that'll be good. And then I'm just going to put some dimensionals in the corners as well. Have you tried hybrid embossing folders? I'm sure that some of you have. I know that I have featured them in some of my classes. They're so cool. They're kind of, like I said, I was kind of scared to try it at first, but once I did it once, it was like, okay, these are really fun and they're kind of neat. So, okay, so I'm going to just put this down here like this. And then I'm going to take our words and I'm just going to tuck these, pull that one up and tuck this one. And you just have to position this a little strategically because you don't want to cover up your words, of course. And that looks pretty good like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to use some mini dimensionals just in the corners of that. Maybe it's good to think about Christmas when it's so hot outside. Maybe that'll give us a feeling of relief from the temperatures. I don't know. Okay, thank you for sharing the video, Shar. I appreciate it. So this is going to be tucked up here. And then this one is going to be able to go right under this. I can pop it up. I kind of pushed it down. Okay. Tuck that, just slide that in there. And I'm just, before I stick it down, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm not going to cover up any of my words. So I need to move this down a bit. And it's fighting with me. It's not being nice to me today, you guys. I think that'll work. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we have that. And then what you can do also is just go through and pop some of these. You could actually even put these under some dimensionals, or put some dimensionals under these, I mean, and then, you know, pop some of them off. I think that's really pretty. And then what I want to do to finish this, I like when they pop up. I think that's pretty. And, you know, you could, of course, use a color underneath if you wanted to, like a green, if you used a green. I'll show you the second one I made in a minute here. And then I'm just going to take my ribbon again and just make a double bow. So I'm just going to use 2 strands of my ribbon and just make a double bow. Because I think for Christmas, why not? Why not? And this is sparkly too. So I'm taking 2 separate strands, but I'm treating them as if they're just one ribbon. I'll wrap around. And then I'm just going to kind of fidget with it a bit. And then I'll just snip these up a bit. Don't want them too long. And then I'll just take a glue dot. Just going to take a glue dot and I'm going to just tuck this right there. Like that. And then I'm going to use some embellishments. For this one, because I was using the gold ribbon, I'm going to use the flower accents. These are from that kintsugi suite that I was talking about. So I'm just going to put some of these on here. And what you could do that would be really pretty is take your Wink of Stella and just color some of the leaves. You wouldn't even have to do all of them. But gosh, I just think this is really pretty. And if you, like I said, if you would like to get the kits to make these cards, these 3 cards in the mail, just place a $40 order between now and Sunday. You're really going to be better off to place a $75 order because then you could take advantage of free shipping. But you could get the hybrid bundle and, you know, you could get some ribbons, some gems, some white cardstock, inks that you need, a Wink of Stella, whatever. And then just let me know, email me, and just say, Laura, please send me the kits for these cards. That way I know that you are expecting them, and I will be happy to send them to you. So let me bring, and then, let me bring the 3 cards in that we made together. I'm going to use my bone folder on the back side because of the detail of that embossing folder, but let me hold this up. Really, really fun. And then this is the navy blue. And this is the one that says joy. So pretty. Do you have a favorite? What do you like? What's your favorite? Can you see yourself using this for Christmas cards? I can. I don't know which one I would choose. I kind of like this one. And then I was just playing around, experimenting when I was making up my samples. And I did one, this is similar to the very vanilla one. And I used Pretty Peacock. And then you can see here I stamped the holly image and colored it in with my blends. And then just added some more of those gold flower accents with some twine, the red and white twine. So that's another card. But these are the 3 cards. If you're interested, like I said, a $40 order will get you the supplies to make these cards. You will need the bundle. We don't do the die cutting any parts of the bundle, but like we would give you all the card stock. We would cut anything that's not part of the bundle, like this and this. And I hope that you will consider taking advantage of that ordering special. And again, you might want to just kick it up and take advantage of free shipping as well. Then you get two great deals. So, okay, I am going to change my camera view. Oh, before I do, I want to show you one other thing. So do you remember, I think it was just last week, I showed you some ways to use the sunflower embossing folder. And one of the things, when I was kind of experimenting with this, one of the ways we used the sunflower embossing folder was to take the ink pads and just emboss. So we ran the cardstock through the embossing folder, and then we took our ink pad and just swiped down to get a really cool effect. And I wanted to try that with this embossing folder, and I thought this turned out really pretty. I actually did this on soft seafoam cardstock, and then just ran some ink, garden green ink, down this piece, and then just colored in the berries. And gosh, I thought that was so pretty, and I think it would make a really cool card. So I just wanted to show you that option as well. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for joining me. I will not be able to go live next week, but I will see you the following week, which is the first full week of August, which is crazy. But don't forget about my early bird special with I'm going to hold this up, the Kintsugi or Inspiring Imperfections class to go. If you think you're interested, hop on it right away, because if you order today or tomorrow by noon and include the bundle in your order, I will send you the coordinating embossing folder for free, and that's a $10 value, so that's a really good deal. And then also, if you are considering the fear of missing out cruise option, let me know. Just get in touch with me, and we can get you set up for that too. But it's a lot of fun, and maybe you'll kind of pretend like you're on the ship. You can feel like you're actually there. But thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your week, this week and next week as well. I'll see you the following week. Take care. And as always, I hope you have time to be creative today. Thank you so much, my friends. Take care.